Turner in D, and Louis Gouws and Lawrence Boshoff in Class E. So it was a day of double victories for the class winner. Louis Gouws took the 1400cc Class E. Traffic jam of motor cars, and they haven't all made it through Castle. Louis Gouws, the action man, the Carver came in, Santon Delta car, Morgan Root showing better than he's ever done, and Gouws is at it again. As we say, an action man going sideways, and another warrior bites the dust. One of the Brat Pack in Class E, has got the yellow flag. They touch, and he gets a wobbling, goes into the brake marker boards. Across the circuit, can you believe, into the Armco, and Silver.
Within 1400 Opel Cadets, and from pole position, Sean Watson-Smith taking the lead from Paolo Franceschi, Gavin Ramsey, Louis Gouws trying to force his way past Gavin Ramsey into third position. He's going sideways like we've got to know Louis Gouws, and there's mayhem going out of Continental Corner. Lawrence Boshoff being forced off the road on the inside, and still the action goes on. Grant Rod going sideways, being collected there by Rick Oliphant, and both of them out of the race. Let's have a look again at exactly what happened. We're in with Louis Gouws. He's trying to get on the inside of Gavin Ramsey. He's got Paolo Franceschi in front of him and Sean Watson-Smith, and goes sideways, Louis Gouws, through Continental Corner. On his inside we should see, yes, there is Lawrence Boshoff, and again bumping and barging as they get out of Continental Corner, and sideways goes Grant Rod. Rick Oliphant has nowhere to go, and both of them touch. It's Boshoff going off on the outside, and Watson-Smith as well, and hard into the tyre walls. Watson-Smith is making it. Lawrence Boshoff, who goes off on the outside. Fortunately for him, he stops in time, and Watson-Smith beautifully controls the
ground. He gets pushed to the side of the circuit in that new Opel Astra, and John Craig gets twisted around, and Roddy Turner just misses him, and Craig is left down there and is centre punched by Louis Gouws. It's mechanical mayhem down there on Stanley Corner.
Once again coming through, having a great win and another great Stanek Group N race.
And Treasure Gouws from the word go, and maybe get away from him, and that will also help me.
Louis Gouws had planted his cadet on pole position in Class E. As the field of 33 cars came under starters' orders for round 17. This is always fraught with danger at the beginning of a race, and this is Fraser McIntosh, who started third, pushing pole sitter Louis Gouws out of the way. Publishing Opel Cadet, and a recovering Louis Gouws, who had to fight his way back through the field after the first lap incident with McIntosh. Cars made up of Louis Gouws, the second place between Louis Gouws and his cadet, and the Opel courses of James Menon and Fraser McIntosh. Louis Gouws was happy that points leader James Menon was behind him. McIntosh thought he saw his opportunity, but he and Menon made contact, sending the previous race winner into the infield.
field. Stephen Taylor in the Sanyo Opel Cadet had a slight cushion over the ever-spectacular Louis Gouws, who'd moved ahead of Neil Stephen. Taylor.
Has gone sideways. He's tipped there by Graham Hepburn in that Class F car, that little 1300 Toyota. It's a bad spot on the outside of the corner. It's a blind corner coming around there. A dark Class D Hondas, they come around some of the drivers outside it. And Record Roots goes into Sutherland and a pirouette there from Leon Marais. He takes him out as he just spirals into the air and we've 1300 and goes sideways. Graham Hepburn, he's gone into the veld and he's rolled it. He's hit a tuft of grass. And Graham Hepburn in that little Class F Toyota's roller, those hard-working marshals, their work is not over for the day.
Having his first outing of the season, Gouws was around 8 seconds ahead of veteran Neil Stephen, and barring accidents, that scenario wasn't going to change.
1400s in Mortal Kombat, led there by the Reedpan hardware car of Louis Coast. Here they come down towards us, it's Louis Coast, he's got about a 5-car lead. Bosso, still Louis Coast, still Lawrence Bosso. And there is Tony Bulliard just behind him. He's had the Rookie Car of the Year award many times now. Been a great season for him. And on his tail, he's got Paolo Franceschi. Sean Tudor's gone a little bit further back in this 5-car race. It's going to be Louis Coast. Very late into the AA Kinky goes. Does Louis Coast.
Spinning off and was nearly thumped by an Opel Corsa, which had taken evasive action. The drama came at the subway, when Alchin suddenly went flying off the circuit with the Total Honda went a little wide and stuck a back wheel on the dirt. There was no saving the situation, and you have to hand it to a couple of intrepid photographers.
Like you and I drive. It attracts the biggest fields in South African Championship racing. It also provides some of the closest racing and action virtually on every corner.
Presents highlights of the East London round of the Stanek Group N Championship. Racing like you've never seen before.
On the dirt and up the hill comes Louis Coast. 70s, Louis Coast is leading. He won the last race. Louis Coast, who we almost missed in the last race, is so far ahead of them. He's in the front there. There he is, photographer by profession. He's in the front. And that's the 1400cc car. Just listen to those tires squealing in protest as they go down through the S's and start climbing up the hill. In the front. You can't get it. And Louis Coast in Class E has
competitiveness in Class E.
Well, the times are very close. It's very competitive, but there's a lot of bumping. You know, the guys are really taking each other out. But it'll be a very close race. It's a third time.
To the back of this entire field. In with Louis Coast. He's got problems with his wheels. It looks like he's got a puncture. Lap records. Back in with Louis Coast. Certainly struggling. He's got a puncture there. They're coming together. Willie van Vuren. Not enough room for him. He loses it. And Juby sees him. He goes off. He tips him. Franceschi goes to the outside of the field. And it is just mayhem down there. Here's another look from Juby's car. He goes past Edwards. Gets a bad knock there. He loses control. And spins it around the outfield there. Sullivan is on his own out in the front there. There's Edwards going again. The bumper getting taken.
I came out of the Malmesbury now and Louis Gouws was absolutely sideways in front of me and we did a bit of avoiding there. It was great fun.
Sy motor wat in die eerste plek is in klas D. En in klas E miskien 'n verrassing, Louis Gouws, fotograaf en nasionale tydren springbok navigator Guy Hodgson. en hulle Opel Cadet in Klas E so voor in daardie Klas N22.
Leading Class D and Class E's been a great battle right through all the 6.5 hours so far. We've seen Louis Goos's car, that's an Opel Cadet Cub 1400, have an almighty dice with Chris Boucher and Dave Beecroft, and those at this stage, it was as close as 1-2 seconds for at least 4 hours. The last time I saw it was about 11 seconds gap between them, and that's after 6.5 hours of racing.
As hier nog steeds Louis Goos.
1400cc cars, the Brat Pack, huge field of these cars. We've got some new cars have entered here, predominantly Louis Goos. He's a privateer in the Santon Delta Opel 140, going very well.
Fantastic car, Roger. I picked it up at the factory on Thursday morning and we brought it here, and I haven't done a thing to it but drive it, and it's really a pleasure. It's a marvelous car to drive. It's totally different, but it's very forgiving and you just can't put a foot wrong. I've really enjoyed it. I moved up half a second at a time and now I'm half a second off the pace, so it's not, I'm really happy with the third place on the grid. It's wonderful, first time out.
Pushed him out of the way. Along comes Louis Goos and Grant Fletcher's just behind them. And it's Louis Goos in the Carbachem and Santon Delta Opel Cadet, that new 140 fuel injection car, and they're all checking their mirrors to see how close the other man is as he starts to tow him up the long straight. Goos is next. Taylor has got Louis Goos all over him, just scattering glass and bits of indicator lens all over the circuit, and even Taylor's got other worries. He checks his mirror. He's got Louis Goos in that Santon Delta car right in his tail. Here's the 1400s. On the right hand side, it's Louis Goos. He's in that Ritpan hardware car going around the outside of the Sedgwick Opel there of Boshoff. He's the champion. Here are the 1400s who've been racing at 190 kilometers an hour, and now here comes Bulliard on the right hand side, swinging out into action, and behind, no it's not, it's Louis Goos going round the outside. He's intent on winning this race, as we say, a different leader on every single corner as they bump and barge their way around the circuit. Down to the Conti Bridge, it'll be very late braking. It's a left-hander coming up now. Here they are coming into that corner, and it's Goos, Louis Goos from the Transvaal. From Cape Town is Boshoff. It's Bulliard in third spot, and then it's Sean Truden just by. Here come the 1400s. It's Boshoff in the inside, Louis Goos on the outside, going round him once again. They'll have to tighten his line to try and keep him out. Truden's trying to push his way through and keep Bulliard out. This has become a four-way race now. No, there's Taylor as well. 5 cars having it out, slugging it out of the goldfields. It's Louis Goos with Boshoff. And Louis Goos took class in the 1400cc class. We look forward to rounds 21 and 22 at East London. Position, Truter, Marais, Louis Goos on the outside, and nipping through on the inside is Michele Lupini back in racing, and that battle has been going on and chopping and changing through, and Marais and Goos and Lupini and Peter Gouws following, and normally produces a great fight. There's a man making history, pole position in Class E, Louis Goos.
Veteran privateer Louis Goos was leading the title chase thanks to 5 victories from 6 races in Class E. 7 points ahead of Class F leader Fanny de Bruin, who'd also won 5 races but did not finish last time out. Tried to move through on the inside, Wyndham and Goos made contact, throwing the Opel into a wild spin which Goos did well to get under control. This cost him 1 position though, with Morne Human and Class F leader Gavin Cronier getting past and relegating Goos to 4th in Class E.
Some of the less experienced drivers are being tested to the absolute limit through rifle there. Donnie van Zyl starts to lose it in that 1400 Cub, and that's an incident he's going to long remember.
Louis Goos had 15 seconds over McIntosh in Class E in his 4th victory of the season, while de Bruin made it 5 in a row in Class F. Behind Louis Goos, who wasn't getting as far away as in the previous race. Goos continued his domination in E, with Cronier taking his first victory of the year in F.
They stream down through Volkswagen Corner. There's Louis Goos off in the first race, and he's starting to get in amongst the leaders. Peter still with Bulliard on his tail as they come out of Sabert, and Franceschi has lost it. That's one of the biggest rolls we've Wyndham as a come up, and somebody's lost in a big way at the bridge. And Wyndham has to duck as he comes past Steve Corner. There's a car gone off in one almighty accident there. As they start to slow down, it's Robin Forbes has hit the bridge from both sides, that Goodyear bridge, and has gone off the circuit. The clerk of the course has stopped the race. Boshoff leading, late in the brakes. He gets a tip there from Sean Truder. He loses control and he just starts to shoot across the road, and really it's tit for tat there as Boshoff spins Truder around in his quest to try and get past him on this corner. And Truder coming out doesn't see in his mirrors as he gets his act together.
Privateer Louis Goos had pole in Class E, while Gavin Cronier out-qualified championship leader de Bruin in Class F. Class E was being led by privateer Louis Gouws in his Opel Kadett, while points leader Fanny de Bruyn was pulling away from the rest of the Class F field in his chase. The Class D leaders were mixing it with the Class C midfield runners, but amazingly the flying Louis Gouws and his Class E Opel Kadett was hanging on to Western in that and not being able to get away from Class E leader Louis Gouws in the Kadett. After the race, following a protest about this incident from Scribanti, the stewards of the meeting decided to fine Bart 1,000 rand, but allowed him to keep his points for second position, although the incident is likely to have further repercussions.
Pole position in Class E, Louis. 66 from Cape Town, his first taste at Kyalami, gets it all wrong at Nesha. Goes sideways and Rick Oliphant in that green car says thanks very much and moves up a place. Here's the 1400cc car, has been led by Lawrence Borsov. Good drive there by Paolo Franceschi, and Louis Gouws from pole position is keeping up the pressure. There's Gary Moraz. Paolo Franceschi being followed by poleman Louis Gouws to prove their mettle. And Paolo Franceschi would just wish that Vaughan Williams would get out of his way, because behind him he's got Gouws. As Paolo Franceschi getting on the inside of Williams, and Louis Gouws takes his chance because his mirror's hanging off as well. He started at the back of the field. He's got Lawrence Borsov his tail, Louis Gouws and Paolo Franceschi. That battle rages on, as it has done at circuits all over this country, as these 20 cars or so have major battle. And Roddy Turner loses it in a big way. And Lindsay Steyn and Neville Bartlett, Class Fit Opel, get past him, and so do those 1400cc.
There's a Class E situation, with Edwards having passed Boshoff for the lead. Franceschi remains in third place. Louis Gouws is also in there.
We've got there, we've Ramsey, the red car's front sail, Bulliot's in there, Boucher, They're all through there. Stephen Taylor and Hilton Spark and the Lashaka car. And here's someone in trouble. Stephen Cross has lost it in a big way. What a place to do it when that car is really at the limit of its grip. He goes over and that's a right off for sure. Strong motor car, the driver will get out unhurt, those roll cages. Taylor's going inside of Turnbull. He's locked his wheels, he's going across. Ramsey turn, he's got nailed on the door. Hairpin is a tricky one, doubles back on you as he Boucher looks for a way through. He gives him a nudge, he's pushed him back. Bulliard's gone back to the front. Mayhem all over the road, in with Louis Coast. He tips into the side of Brian Lake. There's damage all over the circuit. And Louis Coast even loses his mirrors. He tries to get onto the circuit, and there he comes again. He takes out Schalwick and a very heavy ding in the door. Coast is in 47, that Carbagem Opel. He goes into Late's car. There's Vaughan Williams. There's Willie van Vuren in 55, that dark blue one. And Chris Clark has gone in there as well. Coast is back on the road, but he's got serious handling problems with that Opel. The chassis is all bent and twisted. Yes.